Tuesday, folks, March 9th, 2021. You're watching the Daily Mix TV. Hi, my name is Sean Patrick Hillman. Absolutely stunning day outside. It is almost 60 degrees already in New York City, and at some point this week, we may even hit 70 degrees. Hopefully, the weather where you are is just as nice. On to the news. Brands across the globe are running into cancel and woke cultures everywhere. Now you've got brands going out of their way to try and assuage these communities before they even launch their products, their ad campaign, or frankly, anything else. The best example comes from the latest issue online, which is from Burger King in the UK. They set social media on fire this week with one of the most ill-advised attempts to bring awareness to a lack of female chefs in the community for International Women's Day. Women Belong in the Kitchen is the name of the campaign. I mean, this was so poorly worded, it ended up having the exact opposite effect to what they intended. Now, as I said, well intended indeed, but it fell flat on its face, given the extremely poor positioning that the brand and their agency in the UK obviously worked on. So it's sad that they also use this as a way to announce a scholarship program to, quote, help female Burger King employees pursue their culinary dreams. The brand actually ran a print execution in the New York Times, as you can see, which laid out the scholarship program. But the timing of the tweet, coinciding with International Women's Day, just set off so many alarms to begin with, it's not even funny. Now, granted, I get where Burger King was coming from. I get where their agency was coming from. But to float something like this without testing it, without looking at it from a global perspective, not just a UK perspective, very, very, very bad idea. An agency's job or a marketing unit in-house, their job is to create this kind of campaign, but also test it, make sure that it's not going to end up blowing back on them, those kinds of things. So for that, Burger King gets the shaking my damn head of the week. I cannot believe that it's 2021 and somebody is so unprofessional to have let this fly that it's now blowing back on the brand extremely. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens for Burger King. I mean, look, guys, cancel culture is spreading everywhere. And out of fear, brands and companies are actually taking themselves out of the equation before the unruly mob has a chance to do it for them. So what do I mean? Let's talk about the alleged sequel to Space Jam as an example from Warner. You know, it's starring LeBron James, and Warner Brothers pulled the plug on Pepe Le Pew for fear that earlier backlash against the lecherous skunk, let's just call him for right now, would flatline the movie. So a bunch of years ago, people had started to slam Pepe Le Pew because, he's sleazy. He sleazes on all these women, these female, felines. And anybody who's actually watched Looney Tunes understands that the genesis of Looney Tunes wasn't about children. But the later executions of Looney Tunes was more about kids while still hitting adults. So the idea in the way that they had played this out when I was a little boy was Pepe never got the woman. He kept going after her, but not in an obnoxious way, not in an offensive way, in a, courtship kind of way. And yeah, ill-advised for sure, but to cancel a character based on that is just absurd. Now, add to that the lack of a spine by Warner Brothers in giving in to special interest groups that tried to cancel Speedy Gonzalez. It took a Mexican family and Mexican actors to bring this character back from the brink, saying that they didn't find it offensive. So Warner acquiesced. This is the kind of insanity going on today where you can't even make fun of yourself or even your own culture for fear of these infantile and oversensitive children coming after you, well, like this. Reality has to set in at some point that these people are a minority percentage of the total population and do not command the kind of masses brands think that they do. Here's a thought. Since things are starting to reopen and we're looking at the world from a different point of view right now, thanks to the pandemic, can we please just get back to reality and back to developing fun, innovative, and engaging content without fear of the cancel mob? I mean, these people are completely out of control. And all it's going to do is continue to send us down a path that is extremely dangerous for a country whose entire foundation is based on freedom. Okay, Zillow is expanding its floor plan beyond real estate listings. What they're now calling Zillow Offers will branch out into the business of buying, renovating, and selling homes. Speaking to the strength of the current housing market in suburbia and rural America, Zillow will rely on what they call their Zestimate online estimation as a way of making a, quote, initial cash offer from the company to buy properties in 20 U.S. cities. That's where they're starting with. Now, this could appeal to owners seeking a rapid sale and would-be sellers looking to work through their numbers. I'm not so sure about this endeavor as much as I've been about other Zillow pushes. I've looked at the Zestimate in many markets, and it's both grossly over and underestimating properties that I'm very familiar with. Now, personally, I'm a fan of Zillow. I'm a fan of StreetEasy. But this move may prove foolish if they don't clean up that side of their platform so that the estimate is actually closer to reality. Picture this. A, young millennial or older Gen Zer, which are called Zoomers, an older Zoomer, they inherit their home from their mom and dad who, may have passed away, or a grandmother or something like that, and they decide to sell. But they don't know anything about the market. So they end up selling based on this Zestimate. Well, herein lies the problem. If somebody gives them an estimation above that number post-sale, they may actually have reason to go to court and sue Zillow for undervaluing their home. So it's a scary prospect. I hope Zillow figures this out before they go full tilt on it. As I said, I'm a fan. Hopefully, this works out for them. And something that may not work out for others right now is what's going on over at Hudson's Bay. On Friday, Hudson Bay's Saks Fifth Avenue unit announced that they were spinning off their e-commerce business in a transaction worth $500 million. Excuse me, sorry. According to the legendary retailer, Saks Fifth Avenue's e-commerce business operating on its own will actually allow both the store business and their .com variant to perform better through streamlined costs, staffing, and more. Something about this absolutely stinks. You consolidate to streamline your costs. You try to leverage all of the inner workings of your company to streamline costs. There's that notion that there's greater strength in numbers, and based on volume, your costs come down. In this case, quite frankly, during the pandemic, Saks Fifth Avenue's website is the only thing that kept the brand afloat. So for them to spin this off, something else is going on behind the scenes. And I have a feeling it's got something to do with their flagship on Fifth Avenue. They've floated selling that space for a number of years now. And since Hudson's Bay 2 years ago now, sold the old Lord & Taylor building on Fifth Avenue, it's not that far a stretch to assume that they're looking at that option. Personally, if they do that, that is a very big mistake. Once you do something like that, you can never get it back. And Lord & Taylor is the perfect example of exactly what I'm talking about. Saks Fifth Avenue, for the last number of years, unfortunately, have done everything they possibly can to kill their business. As an example, my grandmother, who was a legendary newspaper columnist, she used to go to the salon and spa at Saks Fifth Avenue to get her hair cut, okay, and to get styled and all that fun stuff. I mean, granted, we're talking about the 50s here, folks. 50s, 60s, early 70s. I ended up going to the salon and spa at Saks Fifth Avenue many, many, many years later because my stylist had left where she was and moved over there. I bring this up for a very good reason. Saks Fifth Avenue completely flatlined their salon and spa operation. They then partnered up with Joel Warren, and we talked about this last year. They partnered up with Joel Warren in this very ill-conceived effort to, give a resurgence to the salon and spa. Nobody bothered to do any testing. Nobody bothered to do any research. And the result is obvious, since they're not doing any business. When you look at what they did to the flagship store on Fifth Avenue in terms of their renovation, laughable at best is how I would couch that. I mean, it's horrific. The psychographic flow of the store makes no sense. The way that they looked at promotion in the store makes no sense. And they took away a lot of the creativity that made Saks Fifth Avenue what it once was. So I'm hoping they get back to business appropriately. I am actually hoping that somewhere underneath, Saks Fifth Avenue is actually going to come back big time from this unfortunate move. Essentia Water has a new owner. The functional water brand announced that it's been acquired by Nestle USA. News of the acquisition comes on the heels of Nestle's previous announcement of the sale of their North American water unit, including brands like Poland Spring, while it was looking to focus on expanding its global water business on international premium and mineral water brands. So going from mass to class is how they're viewing this. Quote, with the addition of Essentia, we continue to transform and best position our water business for long-term profitable growth here in the U.S. and globally. And that's Steve Presley, who's the chairman and CEO of Nestle USA. So Essentia's water contains a pH of 9.5 or higher, and it joins the company's other brands like Perrier, Pellegrino, Aquapana, and so on and so forth. Sorry guys, I don't have COVID. I just have a bit of a scratchy throat. When you get into the water business, okay, soda right now is still on the decline. Water is about flat, if not down slightly. Teas and other soft beverages are about flat or up a little bit. So when I look at Nestle focusing more on premiumization as opposed to mass market, especially in this market, this economy, I don't know that that's going to bear the kind of fruit that they're looking for. Hopefully, their returns don't come back all wet. Ferrero is getting into the Easter spirit, this time with limited edition offerings from several of their brands, including Kinder, Nutella, Tic Tac, Butterfinger, Crunch, Baby Ruth, and Ferrero Rocher. The new launches include a Kinder Joy Egg, which will be available in 8 Easter-themed designs, Kinder Mini Hollow Easter Figures, Kinder Chocolate Happy Plush Easter Gift Box, a Mini Nutella Easter Jar, Tic Tac Mints, Crunch Bunny, Butterfinger and Crunch Nest Eggs, Ferrero Rocher Bunny Gift Box, Ferrero Rocher Egg Gift Box, and then Ferrero Eggs, and then finally Fannie Mae Milk Chocolate Bunny. So consumers can find all of these products at retail locations nationwide, including your usual chain drug like Walgreens and CVS and mass market retailers like Target and Walmart and so on and so forth. When you get into candy, okay, confections have basically 3 big periods in the year, okay? You've got Valentine's Day for chocolate, Easter, obviously candy and chocolate, and then you've got Halloween for all of the above. The problem I'm having with this, historically, Ferrero has not done this kind of programming, not on this scale anyway. What they've typically done is focused on Ferrero Rocher and Kinder as their brands for Easter. Now that you've got other holding companies pushing out innovative product to go up against the norms like, Peeps and things like that, it makes sense for Ferrero to do that. However, when I look at what happened at Valentine's Day, where you had massive inventory leftovers and a lot of discounting, that presents an issue when you come back and look at your revenue numbers in the back half of the year to plan for the next fiscal year. So for Ferrero, I don't know that this much product mix is a good idea. I'm glad they're doing something. I just think this might have been a little more than they should have done to get their feet wet this year alone. All right, folks, I'm out of time. My name is Sean Patrick Hillman. If you guys have any questions, comments, or story ideas, please email thedailymixtv@gmail.com. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow on Hump Day.